It also, at the end, has projects that students can do, that the youth can do, in order to take some kind of humanitarian action in their own communities, whether they live in a conflict country or a peaceful country.
At the end of our training in the EHL program, our class wrote a text. I'd even call it an appeal. It went like this: how can we encourage respect of human dignity? We, the fourth-year students of ICRC Friedwald Middle School, demand that dialogue and awareness be the watchwords for the prevention and regulation of armed conflict.
At the end, the students have become much more aware of a lot of issues. They've even tried to do a couple of projects aimed at disseminating the different concepts they've learned, all of which aim at protecting life and human dignity. I've never been in a country at war, but I truly understand the suffering of civilians living in war. They're not responsible, yet they get killed. All that.
How can we you, as young people in a wealthy, well-educated country of Northern Europe, try to improve the world if possible?
The things we talk about here makes you think how to act when you're outside between other people. So I get something out of it, yes.
The students in Denmark or in this school will learn from this kind of subjects that they have to take care of each other in their own life.
If every teenager learns about war and its consequences, we would think more about it, and maybe later in our life we would avoid war, because we know what it does to people and we know what it does to us and the world.
So why is there a legal age? This is close to the first question. We are going to benefit from it. No, of course, it was different now before talking about international law. I was reading that it is normal that people can get killed without any right, and it is also normal that houses can be demolished. But now, no, I am talking about the legal text, and I know that this is a violation of human rights. Sure, during the project, this is the way we were doing it, reading the news to see whether there is a violation of human rights, and if it is necessary to contact any institution. In the beginning of the project, of course, it was difficult. When we mention the expression international law, they are not convinced because of the breaches they suffer in our country. However, later on, when they get to know the spirit of the law and what are their rights and duties, it is pleasant. They accept it and they love it. Imagine for a minute that we're prisoners of war and we've been captured by the enemy. How would we want to be treated by the people who captured us? There's no war here, but in other places there is. But we sympathize with the others because we put ourselves in their shoes. And I think, as I see it, I put myself in their shoes and I wouldn't want to be there. They have a greater capacity to analyze what's going on in the world and a greater capacity to identify with what's going on in society and to intervene, to realize that they're the ones who, in effect, can bring about change, and that this change can extend to other people in the society. As one of my students called it, a multiplier effect that affects attitudes.
No matter what the attack is, that's to say any harm to human dignity or to mankind is an attack, it's an attack against human dignity and man's dignity. Yes, I could use this in my life, because in occupied cities, especially in our village, for example, One can find oneself in many situations. First of all, with the Israeli army. One can be stopped at a checkpoint. So if I'm attacked by soldiers, I ought to be able to discuss with them and say that this is against international humanitarian law. But how can you do that? Students in Palestine do not live in normal conditions. They've been under occupation for a long time. Therefore, the practices of the occupying power never end. This is why students and teachers should know international humanitarian law, so that they can at least discuss with the occupying power, Israel.
We have dilemmas every day, but the degree of the dilemma that we have is very frivolous compared to the dilemmas that soldiers face in day-to-day combat.
If there is a war in Malaysia, we know what to do and we know how to handle things. We know that we cannot abuse prisoners and so on.
I think throughout these lessons, I would pay more attention to all those news in newspapers, in the media. I would pay much more attention.
If someone's getting beaten up or something, you have to stop them, you have to maintain his human dignity.
And education encompasses all aspects of life, not just what is prescribed by the textbooks and the syllabus. We have to prepare them for life after school. And therefore, I think it is very right for them to be aware of the realities of the world.